Did you guys see Techno's lore today? I thought, oh, dude, I'm so excited. Techno's lore was crazy. So basically, he went to visit Dream. He got trapped inside. Oh, the beauty of it all. It's just coming together so well. Oh, look who it is. Hi, George. Hello? Oh, right. I was talking about the Technoblade stream today. That was sick. That was so basically that's how the Technoblade got trapped in prison with Dream. So that's very interesting to see. That is very that was very interesting to see. So I'm excited. I'm excited how it's gonna progress. But I did notice for a bit it caused quite the conversation. I don't know why it caused quite the conversation. There was a whole discussion on Twitter I saw about lore and the type of lore that people like, the type of lore that people enjoy. And you know, what better way to dive into that topic while I'm playing Dream SMP? I wanna talk a little bit about lore. Where do I start? First off, I think I gotta start and preface it with this. Thank you guys so much for how much love you guys show to all my lore and everything I do. I think in terms of how creative I get and how creative my job forces me to be, this is the most creative I've been probably ever. I'd say almost ever. And I enjoy it a lot. The way the creative process behind making the lore works for me is just like a concept of my dreams, because I've always been doing like videos and lore. Well, no, I've always been doing videos that I think require a lot of, you know, a lot of mental thinking, you know, the mental thinking. It's like a lot of mental work, you know, to figure out, you know, what music goes with the scene, how the scene should play out, stuff like that. So I just want to thank you guys so much for supporting the lore I do so much. So I just want to preface it with that. I enjoy it so much. And I think one of the parts I enjoy most about it is giving people a new way to experience Dream SMP storytelling. I think storytelling on the Dream SMP as a concept is amazing, because you take this like server, which to many may seem insignificant, but you attach such emotion and such incredible storytelling to it, and it sticks with you. It sticks with you, and it's great. I love it. I love everything about it. I think the lore that I've been making recently is a job of my dreams, because I feel like I'm directing a movie, and that's the exact thing that I want to showcase to everyone watching it. It's like, whoa, this feels like a movie. So it's great. I saw a lot of interesting comments about people saying like, oh, you know what, I miss it more when like Dream SMP was like more like, you know, like lighthearted lore and all that. And it really got me thinking, like, not lighthearted, it's more like unplanned. And it really got me thinking, you know, how far this whole concept of storytelling has come, to the point where people, you know, have certain preferences over how the story is told, whether it's with cinematics and like, you know, cool music and like effects like that, or people prefer when it's more like improv based, you know, people just get on and do, you know, whatever. It's very interesting how the storytelling of this server has come to that point, and I love it. And the reason I love that kind of, you know, that kind of differences between the way people prefer lore is because it reminds me of like a TV network to an extent, you know? Let's say Cartoon Network has 10 different cartoons, and everyone has a different preference for each cartoon, right? And of course, everyone is entitled to their opinion, how they enjoy seeing the lore, how they enjoy looking at it. And I think more than anything, that's a cool thing. I do want to talk to you guys about what goes into my lore and how it's made and my whole thought process behind it, to kind of give you guys an insight on how fun it is for me personally to do it. I gotta preface it with, I'm gonna keep doing lore the same way I've been doing it because I enjoy it so much. I think creatively speaking, it's the most taxing way I've done lore, and it's also the most rewarding in terms of how creative I can get with it. I love it. I love it. When I do my lore, I like to think of it again as like showing you guys a movie. And when you make a movie, when directors make a movie, they can't leave a lot of it to improv. A lot of them sometimes do, you know, a lot of them do, like in real life movies, sometimes they do some scenes in improv. But generally speaking, they have a structure as to how this movie is going to play out. And I like to think that I've changed my lore to a point where it feels like a movie. So I like structuring it in a way of a movie. So I love it. I really like it. A lot of people like to say, I think it's not common. It's not actually common. I think not a lot of people. Okay, Callahan, you want to, okay, that we're going to get, okay, Callahan. Well, Callahan, we're going to take that away from you. We're not going to let you use this. And okay, thank you so much, Callahan. Thank you, Callahan. Thank you. When I structure my lore, I like to make sure there's a story to be told, you know? And for future reference, I gotta say, doing my type of lore is it takes a long time, you know? It's not made from like one day to another. So in times where the story will progress faster in the Dream SMP, I do want to warn you guys that not all the lore is going to be like this, like cinematic thing. Like there's going to be times where I'm just going to stream it like a normal, you know, kind of like lore stream, or like, you know, like a normal lore stream, and just kind of do my thing when the story's progressing faster, because I can't make like a huge cinematic thing for every single, you know, thing that happens. But I want to talk more specifically about my last lore. My last lore stream with Foolish, Fundy, Purpled, and Slimesicle. My last lore stream means so much to me. So much to me. And let me tell you why. It's because the structure of it is so carefully planned out and thought out to a point where it needed to be the exact way I wanted to. The reason for this is because for the first time in my lore streams, it is my job to introduce new characters to you guys. These new characters being Foolish, Fundy, Slimesicle, and Purpled. And of course, you guys know who these streamers are. You guys know who they are. But their integration to the lore in general is just so important to me. So what I did was I went to each character and I actually read up the wiki and the backstory they have, and I spoke to each one of them. I said, what do you like? Like, what is your character like? Speak to me from the perspective of your character. You know, like, speak to me from the perspective of your character. Again, and repeating myself, is all these characters do have lore, do have prior lore. Their lore has been going on for a while. But the way I wanted to integrate, I wanted to make sure that their integration to Las Nevadas was good and worked for them and worked with prior lore that they had. Or if they didn't have lore, you know, they could start up a new kind of like character. And that's kind of what I did with it. So I spoke to each one of them and I wanted to know like what their characters like. I read up their wikis and what their history is with the Dream SMP and all. Does that mean like putting it here and just... Oh! Surely there's got to be an easy way to do this, right? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Their integration to Las Nevadas as a country, it was something that I really wanted to plan, because it was to an extent their introduction to the country and an introduction to a lot of the moving parts that goes on in Dream SMP. And that's what I wanted to do with the characters, and that's the way that I wanted to work with it, is to make sure that everyone had the story they wanted to tell. And I wanted to, you know, provide that tool of cinematography to tell the story they exactly wanted to tell. For example, Foolish, I spoke to Foolish about his character, and I'm going to keep it vague because all this is like may come out in a future, I don't know, Foolish lore stream. But Foolish, you know, the whole city scene at the start where Foolish just like, you know, where Foolish essentially is like throwing a bow and suddenly this whole village is on fire. The way I wanted to do that. Oh yeah, someone said cook the potatoes. But the way I wanted to do that is like, you know, sometimes those kinds of moments are difficult to do on a regular lore stream. You know, you really got to play with the camera angles, you got to play with the effects of it and everything. And that's what I really liked about that stream. A lot of people was like, oh, it was like, not a lot of people, but you know, some people were like, oh, it's like really planned. But that was the point of it. It was to plan it, because at the end of the day, being the introductory moment of it, it's good to plan it. You can't just wing it. And I think that goes back to something I've heard quite a bit. People are like, oh, you know, I miss a Dream SMP when everyone didn't like plan out stuff and like too much and stuff like that. And it's interesting. I think as a viewer, I'd probably look at it in a similar way. But the way it is right now is the Dream SMP story is so deep, so intricate, and so delicate, because everything is documented. Every single part of the Dream SMP story is documented, to the point where it's not easy to wing a stream. You know, let's say for instance, this is an example I was thinking about today. You cannot wing streams like you used to. You cannot like say, oh, I'm gonna jump in the server and do whatever the fuck I want, because there's so many moving parts now. Everything's documented. You gotta make sure that it's sticking to the main thing in the sense that like it doesn't derail because someone like winged it, you know? So let's say on a June 1st, I'm like, me Quackity, if let's say I was gonna wing a stream, right? I was gonna like do it non-planned or anything. I'm like, on June 1st, I want to do a stream where I go visit Dream, right? And keep in mind, this is not planned. This is not planned or anything. I start off my stream. I go with Sam. Sam walks me through the prison, and my job here is to visit Dream, right? And within that, and because it's not planned at all, I go in there, and I straight up bring in a weapon. I like bring in a weapon to Dream's prison. Sam doesn't know this. Remember, this is like not planned or anything. Sam doesn't know this. So I bring in a weapon, and Sam has no idea. And I end up killing Dream. I just bring a weapon and I end up killing Dream because it's not planned. I just somehow brought in a weapon and I kill Dream. You know? Suddenly, this is a conflict with Tommy in it, because turns out Tommy in it on, guys, this is by the way an example. This is not real, but this is an example. Tommy in it on June 3rd was planning on a visit to Dream. And maybe in his own streams, he was like planning out to visit Dream and see him, and he was like hyping it up. But now Tommy can't, because I just killed Dream on June 1st. And he had no idea I was gonna do that, you know? That's an example of how terribly some things can go if they're not planned, you know, especially on the server. I think that's one example of many that can be given. But what my point is that many times certain streams or certain parts of the story can't be as winged as people would like it to be, you know? And that's one of the things with the story, because again, it's all documented. It's so intricate. It's so deep at this point. Many things you can't wing it. However, I say many things because not all things have to be planned. There are still streams that can be done. Like, I plan to do a lot of like winged streams with the Lost of Odyssey things to see what happens, you know? But there is still a lot of potential for streams to just be not planned. And it's happening that way right now. You know, it's happening that way right now. So yeah, a lot of people are saying stuff like, you know, like, oh, we don't get like the unplanned SMP lore. And I saw this picture and it made me laugh because it's true. Here, let me show you guys. So it's like a meme format. So it says the following. It says, people complaining how they miss fun-lighted hearted semi-lore. And there's SpongeBob, and he opens up a trash can and says literally every Tubbo stream. Every single time Foolish accidentally did fun lore in the middle of his 5 to 6 hour streams because he was bored. Punk's brilliant Yandere arc everyone is sleeping on. Hannah Pickle lore. There is a lot of storytelling in the Dream SMP. And I feel like people focus way too much on, you know, a certain group of creators or a certain group of people, they're like, oh, they're not doing Dream SMP how they used to. No, it's still happening. The Lasandberg stuff, that's a thing, you know, like there is so much diversity in the way Dream SMP holds stories and holds the storytelling aspect of it that I think people are not aware of because they're too focused on wanting one specific thing from one specific creator. What I like about the Dream SMP storytelling is that there is something for everyone. There is something for everyone. There is something for everything, you know, and I think that's a cool part of it. There's so much to the server. And I think one of the things I liked about my last stream and the reason it meant so much to me is because I feel like it allowed to an easier integration for people, you know, onto lore. Like I when I was thinking of doing that kind of like lore stream, I thought like it would be awesome to have Foolish and Lost Civadas and give Foolish like an awesome backstory where he's like this, you know, this feared warrior and he's just like something really cool about Foolish. When I thought about Slimecicle, I was like, what can we do with Slimecicle? It would be cool since he's slime. He has this like primordial, you know, kind of like backstory where he's like from millions of years of age, and he's just like getting used to the you know, getting used to the everything, you know, like I that's what I thought, and I thought that would be like cool. Also, he had a lot of say in that as well, which was awesome. Charlie did this thing. I am so dumb, by the way. Charlie did this thing where he was telling me like a bunch of ideas where it's like, what if my character did this and that and this and that? And I was like, dude, that is perfect. That is awesome. Like that is, like I love that. Like that is great. And I don't know. I just like how everything is going. For me personally, it's a lot of creative work, and that's exactly what I love. And I love offering that different way of watching the SMP lore, you know? And I think that's an awesome thing, is everyone is doing something different in the SMP. And that's great. And that's really good. I remember when I came up with that idea, was like, I want to give this a cinematic element to it. I was like on a long drive, like a long late drive. I'm like, I want to do lore, but how can I do lore in a way that's, you know, interesting to me to do lore? I got my phone, I put on the Red Dead Redemption 2 soundtrack, and I started driving for hours. And in my head, I just started thinking of different like cool scenes and like cool moments that I could like put into a lore. And I was like, this is fucking sick. So the first thing I did was I got home and I made my very first like draft of what I wanted my lore to be. And it was like, it is so exciting. It's so exciting. And working on the lore and just showing it to you guys, it's so exciting to me. I love it. I put so much heart and passion into it. And that's what I plan to keep on doing. That is exactly what I plan to keep on doing. It's just awesome. It's just wonderful, and I love it. Hi, George.
Do you like my lore?
Your lore is wonderful, George. Okay. All right. Well, he's gone. And he's out. And he's out. He just said, fuck it, I'm gonna build in front of Lost Civadas. Chat! Which is another thing. So many things are still improvised in the server. I had zero fucking idea that Tubbo was gonna build this in front of Lost Civadas. He never told me. I had no idea. And I love it. And I fucking love it. I like it just gives so much opportunity for like something cool to happen. So that's funny. Oh, okay, fuck.